birthday, friends all around. I should feel lucky. But I looked at my phone and seen that Gary Nolan blocked me. What the hell? How does he even know about me? The cake comes out, everyone is smiling.
What is going up out there, dude? Wild times. I accidentally set this stream for 12 a.m. this morning. So that means at midnight, there were people hanging around waiting for it to go live. That's my bad. My bad. You know what I mean? That AM PM will get you. It really will. I want a special shout out to Jake from State Farm for being in the mix. Love seeing you here, man. The video I put out recently has been my most successful video in a long time. 1,500 views so far. So thank you guys for going out and watching, aliens or angels. I think that's awesome. It's awesome. I think the video turned out great too, man. You guys really crushed it with those views and those comments. So I appreciate it. It put me over the limit or the mark to monetize my channel. So pretty soon you guys might be able to become like members and stuff. That should be fun. I think that's a cool thing. Dude, hold on one second. Let's get this music going back.
And I can't blow out my candles because of all of these scams. And I can't blow out my candles because of all of these scandals. It's a shame. I brought all my homies to the stage. And now
Okay, we're back. We're back in the mix. Okay, so yes, that video is taking off. I wanted to talk today, of course, about this UFOs are time machines. It's a concept I think kind of complicated, strange. So let's get into it, okay? Let's get right into it. Shout out to Uncle D. Yo, what's up? So Julian Dory, the podcaster, he recently had on Jesse Michaels. Okay. Oh, look at that. I think I need to do a little bit of this action. There we go. Okay, so great episode. First of all, if you haven't seen Julian Dory's podcast, look at it right there. I'll put it in the comments or I'll put it in the description here, right? He got Jesse Michaels, who does another show on YouTube called American Alchemy, which I think is now just called Jesse Michaels again. But let's listen to this, and we'll take it in pieces. This is kind of a longer clip, but it's going to serve as the backbone to this and have some supporting ideas, right, to dive into from this. But you know what? What might be helpful is a shorter clip. Let's do this. Check this out.
Can you help us understand what's the significance of UFOs?
They're not coming from, well, I should say it this way. The significance of UFOs is multiple parts, but number one, it's not what you think it is. It's not coming from other planets.
This is Tom DeLonge. Right? The guitarist and frontman for Blink 182. And he's also in charge, or was head of, To the Stars Academy. So this was with like Hal Puthoff and some other big UFO guys. He's been plugged in for a long time, if you didn't know that about him. So here he is on the Wild Ride podcast with Steve-O, and they're talking about the significance of UFOs. And so that's why he's being asked this question here.
The evidence doesn't suggest that.
Interdimensional.
Yes. And the reason is because time is parallel. It's not linear. Or it's not like we start here and go forward in time. Time is side by side, which means everything in the past and the future is existing in this moment, but within different frequencies. So a civilization that's at the end of their technological cycle could build a submarine that changes its voltage and materializes in that same location, just into our timeline. And then fucking, it's crazy.
That was well articulated.
Surprisingly enough, it was well articulated. Thanks, Tom. Yeah. Wild, right? So here Tom is talking about a civilization or a species at the end of its technological cycle, at the peak of its technological advancements and capabilities, does this weird trick of changing the voltage of whatever it's inside of, a submarine or something. And through changing the voltage, so electricity here, through changing the voltage, you change its position in this weird parallel time structure that he's talking about. So that's just some background, right? Because Tom talks to a lot of very well-informed people. He really does. And so Jesse Michaels has been researching this for a long time as well, and not specifically time, but here he talks about time because he goes into something called electrogravitics with Thomas Townsend Brown, someone who, like, I did a little bit of background research on, and we'll play a little video for that in just a second. But yeah, check this out. Let's watch some of this clip.
Was maybe involved in this project.
Oh boy.
As was a guy named Walter Gerlach, who was studying gravity. If that is the case, it's of the Townsend Brown lineage, would be my belief.
Yeah. My brain also, a little conspiratorial, goes towards some of that Operation Paperclip and some of the things the Nazis were onto.
Yeah.
Because you basically saved like some of the worst people on the earth who just happen to be very smart
Yeah.
at something. You brought them over here. We know some of them put us into fucking space and shit.
Yeah.
And it's like, what were they able to maneuver? You brought up a lot of amazing research today about anti-gravity and projects that were going on in the 50s and 60s.
But it starts in Nazi Germany.
Yeah.
Yeah. And do you know about like Kammlerstab? Have you heard of that? So
Kammlerstab?
Yeah, have you heard Kammlerstab?
Fill me in.
So there's this SS officer named Hans Kammler. He's the most ruthless Nazi. Like Albert Speer, who's head of all armaments for the Nazis, said, Hans Kammler was the most ruthless, unscrupulous guy I was forced to collaborate with. And so you're talking about a Nazi who's worked with like Hitler and Goebbels and Himmler, and he's saying that this guy is like the craziest, most ruthless guy. By 1945, Hans Kammler was in charge of all aerial armaments for the Nazis, so the V2s, A4s, everything, and he had this secret weapons program called Kammlerstab or Skoda Works, and it was based in two places, in Czechoslovakia and Poland, and so modern day. Obviously these were Nazi occupied. And you had these three scientists, Richard Mita, who was doing high voltage stuff, which is very similar to what Townsend Brown was doing. So, similar experiments, like, kind of short distances, high voltage, maybe asymmetric capacitors. You had
voltage?
Rudolf Schreiber, who was this German technician who had a design for a flying saucer. And you had another guy named Victor Schauberger, who lived in Austria, who we know, he said in his diaries, it says, or I think it was a letter to his son, he says, I'm in Czechoslovakia and what I'm doing is top secret. And this is 1942, right after an SS officer knocked on his door. And so you have all these guys kind of, being housed in like these, secret weapons programs in Poland and Czechoslovakia. A lot of it is actually underground. And they're working on all sorts of crazy stuff. And Mita had designs for flying saucer. All of these guys that I just mentioned had designs for flying saucer. There's another guy named Henri Coanda, who's a Romanian engineer who was also under Nazi occupation. He had a patent for a lenticular aerodyne saucer, and he, I think, also ended up contributing to Skoda Works. So Skoda Works was like a real thing, and they were working on like the most advanced weaponry at the time. And at the same time, you had, Foo Fighters, which are these controlled balls of lightning. They seemed like, they were intelligently propulsed or controlled or whatever, with no vapor trails, moving in and out of Allied fighter flight paths. And so I don't know if there's a connection between that and Skoda Works, but Skoda Works was definitely doing some really crazy stuff. I mean, the rumors were they might have been working on, flying saucer, but there are also rumors. Have you heard of Die Glocke? Do you know what that is? This legendary bell, this German bell. Have you heard of that?
Maybe.
Here we go.
It looks like this sort of like egg-shaped or bell-shaped, thing. And there's a ceramic chamber on the inside. It's metallic on the outside. And you use a lot, extremely high voltage energy. You create like a torsion field around this, object. You have a person go inside the object, and you slow the inertial reference frame. So gravity and time are coupled. And so if you create, the only ways to affect gravity are basically through mass and energy, right? So you have like an extremely big.
coming up, this is really important. This is a huge part of it. This is a great analogy by Jesse Michaels, and up to this point is also awesome. But check this out specifically.
Planet, you're gonna you have this gravitational inward force. But maybe if you have like extremely high amounts of energy, you can also create sort of like these synthetic gravitational effects, and then you can maybe mess with time as well. If you think about it, like the closer you move to a black hole, time slows. And so the idea would be you create this sort of torsion field, and you create this different inertial, this different reference frame on the inside of the bell as on the outside. And so time is actually moving slower on the inside versus the vis-a-vis the outside. And so if it's moving like 1,000th of of the pace of the outside, you can walk out of that thing, after a certain amount of time, you're 1,000 years in the future. And so it's a crazy concept. So that is the lore. That to me is the least believable thing that could have come out of Shkoda Works. But we know that, or we have some evidence that Ernest Grawitz, who is head of the SS Medical Division, that Joseph Mengele worked under Grawitz, was maybe involved in this project.
Oh boy.
As was a guy named Walter Gerlach, who was studying gravity, at his university prior to this work. And so it's this really interesting thing. This guy named Nick Cook wrote this book called The Hunt for Zero Point. He documents it really well. And he meets this Polish journalist named Igor Witkowski, who's probably like the deepest on this. And Cook comes out saying, I don't know if this was real, but there's like a ton of evidence that like Shkoda Works was real, that you had these crazy secret weapons programs that were like, they put the concept of Wunderwaffe, like German wonder weapons, to shame. It's like next level stuff, but he doesn't know, whether the bell existed exactly or like what exactly was going on. But it's a fascinating inquiry. And there's actually a book by this guy named Tom Augustin, and I think it's called Blunder. And it's basically about how there was this fighting for the scraps of Shkoda Works in 1945. And how the Russians ended up with a lot of this stuff and a lot of the frameworks that might have come from Shkoda Works, and then the U.S. ended up with a lot of it. And originally around 45, it was thought that Kammler died or disappeared.
Yada yada yada. Getting into the weeds, but Jesse Michaels. Shout out to Jesse Michaels for this background information, right? So clearly there were several. I'll say institutions and entities looking into specific types of gravity. A lot of the rumors and a lot of the lore center it around propulsion. That's the way they get these things to move. What Jesse's kind of uncovering here is that it's actually not about propulsion, not at least propulsion through space, but it's a movement through time that they're interested in. And so the analogy he gave about the black hole, I mean, look at the movie Interstellar. The closer they got to the black hole, the slower time went for them. But that doesn't mean that to them they were experiencing slow motion. That's not what that's referring to. To the people that are being changed by the gravity, everything's going fine for them, completely normal. But now the outside world is moving faster and vice versa, right? So you can go into one of these very intense gravitational fields for an hour, and depending on how much faster or how much stronger the gravity is for you versus outside, then you're now moving through time at a much faster rate compared to the outside. So you go into this zone, you can go in there for, let's say a day, and let's say it's 100 times, right, the gravitational force. So for one day you were in there would be 100 days for people outside of there. So if you extrapolate that a lot, I mean, you can maybe find or create temporary gravitational forces that are much stronger, 1,000 times, 10,000 times, where 1 minute inside of this thing would transition you years on the outside. So you walk in, you hang out a minute, you walk out, 1,000 years have passed. Now, I don't know if there's any way to get backwards through this, but the only instance we have of people coming back in time are like very advanced people, where the people who are going forward in time, those ones maybe aren't so advanced, because maybe that's one of the first things you can do when you experiment or test out this gravitational time field. Stronger the gravity, slower the time for you, right? And then if you're using electricity to do it, like Tom DeLonge said, right? Like
It's existing in this moment, but within different frequencies. So a civilization that's at the end of their technological cycle could build a submarine that changes its voltage and materializes in that same location, just into our timeline. And then fucking,
Okay.
it's crazy.
all right, man. I love the way Steve-O talks about this stuff. But yeah, so super fascinating. There's all this word about the Nazi Bell and all these different craft, and if a craft is functioning or experimenting with anti-gravity, it's also accidentally messing with time, right? A little bit. I want to show you guys this clip as well. This is Peter Thiel on Joe Rogan. So check this out.
It tells us that I think that if you have faster than light travel, there's something really crazy that has to be true on a cultural, political, social level, and there may be other solutions, but I'll give you my two. One of them is that you need complete totalitarian controls. And it is the individuals, they might not be perfect, they might be demons, doesn't matter, but you have a demonic totalitarian control of your society where it's like you have like parapsychological mind meld with everybody, and no one can act independently of anybody else. No one can ever launch a warp drive weapon. And everybody who has that ability is in like a mind meld link with everybody else, or something like that. You can't have libertarian, individualistic free agency.
Right.
And then I think the other version, socially and culturally, is they have to be like perfectly altruistic, non-self-interest. They have to be angels. And so the Pazulka literal thing I'd come to is the aliens, it's not that they might be demons or angels, they must be demons or angels if you have faster than light travel. And both of those seem pretty crazy to me.
Well, they're definitely pretty crazy, but so are human beings.
Well, they're crazy in a very different way.
Yeah, but not crazy in a different way. You compare us to a mouse. Compare us to a mouse and what we're capable of, and then from us to them.
All right, Joe. So yeah, I think that's such a weird. That shirt sold out within hours of the episode airing, for sure. Everyone over there underneath feels like, oh, that's the shirt. That's the shirt of the summer. Talking over here, of course, about Red Panda. Dude, so, this idea, right, where if you get faster than light travel, now you're kind of messing with time and you enter this God status. You're either an angel or a demon, right? And also, I want to say this for those of you who have seen my recent video on angels and aliens and the Rosicrucians, right? I mean, what he's referring to here, you might not know this. I'm going to explore this later on in more videos coming up. But what he's talking about is that this totalitarian society that he's speaking of. He says that even if they're demonic, what he's referring to is like the attitude and the altruism of that specific society. But the idea of everyone being plugged in, right, and everyone having a shared kind of empathy and knowledge, meaning that no one could do anything bad. This is a world presented by Rudolf Steiner, right? This is a world predicted and prophesized by Rudolf Steiner, who is a Rosicrucian kind of prophet, kind of a theologian, genius, right? So he talks about this time. He says that after the third millennium, which is the year 2000, we will like enter into new possibilities, right? And all of these technological things will be detrimental until we all achieve a certain level of what do I want to call it? I don't want to say sentience, but empathy, where basically everyone can feel what everyone's feeling, and so the world suffering will stop. No one will be able to enjoy a good time because they will feel everyone having a bad time. So there'll be this era where people are basically snuffing out all of this bad shit by changing behavior and empathizing with one another. But that's there's some common language here. Peter Thiel has very interesting views. Okay, I think what we're going to find is that the Rosicrucians have been a part of or embedded themselves in or become attractive to people within higher levels of society, especially our current Western society. You know what I mean? And does some of this information, right, that these guys are kind of obtaining now, does it have to do with this stuff, with the Nazi bell? Or with the concept that messing with anti-gravity all the way back as far as 1930 led to some very interesting and very secret knowledge, almost like the kind of knowledge that a mystery school like Rosicrucianism would teach, right? A mystery school, right? I mean, let's not forget about the intelligence community thinking in some ways, at least factions of them, they are above normal human groups as far as a hierarchy between God and man. That's a little strange to me, my opinion. You know what I mean? So, guys, while we look through and try to understand, this whole UFO situation, I do think that time is going to be playing a much bigger role, that we're looking sometimes at the wrong things. Now, could be wrong there. Could be right. No way of knowing. Real quick, I want to give a quick shout out to the UFO timeline. Look at that. She's a beaut. She's a real beaut there. Okay, so what's going on with this? This is one, whatever. We were looking up another case. Cash Landrum came up into space, and I actually just popped it open and used it practically. I use the UFO timeline practically like all the time. Can I be honest about that? I go through these different stages of like development where I'm developing it, and then I'll like take a pause, and then I'll just start like looking stuff up to test it, and like that's a fun little moment. Those are fun eras. So yeah, this is the UFO timeline. I opened up the Cash Landrum case. We got Pascagoula, happened a couple days ago. Wild. But yeah, if you guys haven't seen this in a while, feast your eyes. We're back all the way. This is the year. I don't know if you could see it with the definition of the screen, but this is 1360. So we can cover huge moments of time very quickly. And then when you zoom in, you start seeing like how much more complicated and kind of thorough this chart is, right? You can get into the months if you want to, individual years, and you can go to the decades. Again, all of these cases have like 50 points of data. There is a full summary of every case. And on the ones that we're filling out, because, it's a lot of research, a lot of time, the white ones, those include deep dive content. So you can go here and look through all the little drawings, check out all the paperwork, all the stuff that goes along with these cases, right? Along with like reports, fix that in a second. And then there will be like custom videos for a lot of these cases as well. Battle of LA, here we got a custom video, just kind of a video explainer, which gives you more detail, more of the granular information right in there. But yeah, all that stuff, you could submit a case if you wanted to. You got this stuff still working. I love this, my event list. You can organize it chronologically or alphabetically, and you can look at all the cases that are in here right there. Right now we have this globe. I love the globe. Look at this. That's a beautiful thing. And of course, all the buttons and everything are functional. You could turn off categories, turn them on, and they all work in the same way. Everything reacts, right? The total cases, if you remove some, that changes. And that same thing with the dots on the globe. As you remove categories, you're removing dots on the globe. And so you can really just kind of cross-reference data. Shout out to all the other UFO databases that are out there doing their thing. A lot of them have years and years of experience with coding and programming. I have absolutely none. I got None, no years, just a couple months worth of it. And so, but I achieved a goal, which was making this thing pop, making this work, and work it does. So adding cases, fairly easy, fairly simple, and I'll be adding hundreds and hundreds more, getting into the thousands, plans of incorporating databases that are already existing through the use of AI. We are making this thing happen, ladies and gentlemen. Within weeks, I'm going to be releasing a early access kind of like couple months to play with the site, use it, and that will be a subscription based thing. Everyone helping out will be helping this thing grow, dude. We're talking about more cases, more feedback. That's one of the things that's missing right now, right? Is just people using it, exploring it, having fun with it, and then, you know, doing things like leaving comments and also, you know, submitting cases, right? Case submissions, sightings, all that stuff. And then people will be able to vote. You know, if you like a case, if you think it deserves more attention, pop it up. You know, I'm creating more and more filters and interactivity between the users and whatnot. And so it will be a big deal. But yeah, there's, you know, I was kind of spreading myself thin with YouTube and Patreon and then this site. And I think it'll all be kind of managed through the website. So yeah, if you guys like my videos, my content, I'll be putting out a lot of video explainers on this website here, talking, of course, about the UFO timeline at the UFOtimeline.com. That's the UFOtimeline.com. And in a couple weeks, you guys will be able to play with this. You'll be able to pop in here, log on, create an account, check out all these filters, all the cases, and then watch it grow. Right, I go through these different waves where I just start dumping in more content. So we're going to be hitting our 300 cases mark. That's going to be fun. We're going to be hitting that in November, and then from there, we're just going to be riding the wave, right, of this awesome new thing that we have at our disposal. Thank you, computers, and thank you, community, for making this whole thing like really work. I'm pumped about it. Very excited. Again, I've never coded anything in my life. I just designed this and kept it going, kept it pushing, and how smooth it is, how fast it reacts, how fast I can find a case, and the different ways I could find a case. Like if I knew the case was in China, I could just type in China here. You know what I mean? Like that's fun for me, dude. And then if I wanted to just move the globe around and explore the cases like this and hover over and get some quick information right there, you know what I mean? Like it's all here. It's interactive. You know, I try to make this as fun for people because I really, dude, I have a hard time with information that's kind of stale and boring. And this is like the first thing I've gotten that actually I can grab, slide, swipe, zoom, scroll, you know, like twist, like tap, click, like everything I want to do is like here. And so I'm going to just spend, you know, a large chunk of my attention in this field on this website, interacting with y'all through it, and then getting people excited through it, and introducing UFOs to like a whole new generation through this website. So yeah, if you guys want to support it, go visit the UFOtimeline.com. Feel free to drop a donation or just retweet the account, the website. Talk to your friends about it. One of my best reviews I've gotten is from people who don't like UFOs, people's wives or husbands or friends who were around when the early testers were using it and were like, hey, you know, my partner chimed in and said they had a blast just kind of using it, clicking, moving around, exploring cases, you know, like that was fun. That's a great review. That's always good to hear. Because I'm not an interactive designer. I don't have any other apps or anything like this under my belt. I have no proof of concept. It's just this. So I think it's something special. But yeah, thanks again, guys, for checking in. We're talking about UFOs and time machines. What a good time to pop in and talk about the timeline. Oh, thank you, MS. MS says she donated. Dude, honestly, like this stuff helps. Like I got all kinds of like new I guess like I got to maintenance, like different kinds of maintenance, different types of services that I didn't know, add-ons to the site to make sure people could have a profile, like all that stuff I didn't know about. I'm incurring these as they go, so it's really cool to have some support here. That's awesome. Really, really love it. So yeah, donations go a long way, and not forgotten. I'm going to create a supporter, like kind of a page or drop down. Maybe it'll look like the event list where you open it up and you can see the supporters, the people who've like really helped keep the project going. Little dedications for them, and of course, like there'll be like I don't know if I've explained this really clearly, but there's going to be different. I don't know how else to say it, but there's going to be different, I guess, achievements and like stuff for people using the site, and different badges and different rewards. I know that UFO data isn't the only way to keep you guys interested, right? Like that's great. I love UFO data, but at the same time, like I want like a cool little like 3D model of a UFO as a reward for using the site, and I want like cool shit like that. Like that would be cool, and so I thought it would be great, and that's going to be in the site. You're going to have like achievements and benchmarks if you like clear like a decade or look up 100 cases. Like all that stuff is going to have some feedback for you and some ways to kind of celebrate the fact that you're learning about UFOs, and it should be celebrated. So all those different programs, all those different things and tricks and little fun, quirky things I get to test out. I get to test out because of people like a mess donating and just kind of keeping the project going. Entirely self-funded, no backing, no nothing, just an idea, a goal, and a vision. And look at it. It's so pretty. I think I'm going to add some orange to the site. I don't know where, but maybe that'll be like the profile name. Glowing orange, like a retro yellow orange, like a Tron orange, I think would be good. But yeah, hell yes, Red Panda backup channel. If you guys don't follow the Red Panda Koala backup channel, go follow it. Thanks again to a mess. I love your name and everything. That's awesome. We got in any case I did about time, it was so confusing as time was explained as a byproduct of space and gravity. So time is kind of different across the universe. It's not consistent. Agreed. I totally agree with that. Achievements, yes, absolutely. There'll be achievements. Hell yes. What I've experimented with so far has been really fun, and that's what the next 2 months is going to be, by the way, right? If you want to pop on the team once this thing kind of does like a pre-launch, if you want to help, if you want to grind it out, or come up with ideas, or be there when like new things happen and be part of like hey, you're like at the ground floor, you're an early like adopter of this, those guys, I think I'm going to like, whoever adopts early, I think I'm going to make sure for the rest of their time on the website, they're like known as the OGs, the Project Blue Book, if you will, the Collins Elite, if you will, dude. That's what y'all all are going to be. So I appreciate it. But thanks again, guys. I think I've been going for over 30 minutes now. What a stream. Check out my channel if you haven't already. All right, check it out. Check out my new video. All right, we have a Aliens and Angels explainer video. Please go peep that. And until next time, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for coming through. I really, really appreciate it. How do we earn the KMF Lifetime Achievement Award? Oh, that will be a very special one. Just dox a bunch of kids. We got, I'm playing. I do not support that. That'd be crazy. But thanks again for popping through. I see we got Ganga in here, Red, Ocean, Steven, Moody Mogul. We got a mess. Dude, yes. Jake from State Farm. It was really cool to see you guys in here. Montezuma. And sorry for these guys who came in at 1 a.m. These guys, this was dropped at 1:42 a.m. I'll check back because they thought that I was going live at 1 a.m. because I forgot to hit the AM PM sign. And then this sad guy, dude. InfoSec, I'm sorry. At 2:25 a.m., he was tired of waiting. He said, so not happening? Damn it. I kept him up. For nothing. Dick move on my part. Seriously. Dick move. Oh my God, I'm not putting this recent comment, I'm not putting it up there. But it is, actually I will. No, I won't. Jake, short stream today. Yeah, 30 minutes is a good Sunday stream. You know what I mean? We're just talking about time travel. Like I love putting together videos. I love putting together like long form videos, but they do take a long time. And in the process, if you're covering like modern, like current news, like the story can change with new information. Like the day I put out the Aliens and Angels video, Lou Elizondo came out with an interview with Jesse Michaels where he talks about a lot of that stuff, and it would have proven even more so that it's not even these fringe guys, that it's a top-down Rosicrucian Christian mysticism vibe. Terrible, right? But that's what's going on. The hate group must be sleepy today. They do not like us winning. Okay, a lot of you guys know about the hate group, the UFO hate group. The worst thing for them is that we win. So that includes more spaces, more shows, more views, you know what I mean? Some shit, more donations, more super chats, more shares. Go share these videos. Share Red Panda Koala's videos. Share any video of people who've been getting attacked, right? And we'll be covering this stuff. You know, Red and I talk about this, at length. And there's a lot more to talk about, and there's a lot more coming. Evil never sleeps. That's a great way to end it. Evil never sleeps. Let's play a song I haven't listened to yet. Is it good? Let's see. It's kind of epic. We're finding out together, folks. Oh, yeah, this is good. Evil never sleeps, and neither does the UFO timeline. This is how we fight ignorance, guys. This is how we fight the mythology and the religiosity floating around in the government and in UFO communities right now. Information. You see a cult showing up on this list? Can you start a cult on the UFO timeline? No, it's only about information. Worldwide UFO data at your fingertips. You got to go visit the UFOtimeline.com to find this out. Watch it in action. In a couple weeks, use it. Slide, zoom, scroll through UFO history. Cut out all the bullshit. What's going on over here? 29 Palms. Uh-oh. That's sick. What happened in Ariel's school? Oh, y'all know about that case? Africa. Boom. It's a good time, guys. This song's got me kind of pumped up. I'm feeling it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Evil never sleeps. What up? A little Pop-Tart in the mix. We also got Emilio. What is Emilio saying? I talk with a lot of Brazilian air traffic controllers, and they see a lot of stuff coming from pilots. Emilio, come through. I'm going to star this, all right? We're going to star this comment. Come through, tell us about it. I don't know if you do spaces, but it would be dope. Come through. I want to hear about Brazilian air traffic controller UFO sightings. Ladies and gentlemen, until next time, it is 12:40 p.m., October 13th on a Sunday. Will this be the first or the last Sunday stream? Will it be a thing that we do from here on out? No clue. I'm inconsistent as fuck. All right, guys. Peace. Until next time. Visit the UFOtimeline.com, folks. The UFOtimeline.com.